Alright, hello guys, welcome back to our Running Up Bankroll series. Starting with $50, ending with 10,000 in 6 months. Episode 5, we're here today playing some 25-50 cent on fullflushpoker.com. Don't have any reads on any of these plays except for Martz. You might remember him from episode 1. I have written down that he has a loose 3-betting range. So that means we're going to be trusting our reads against this player and making some looser 4-bets possibly later in the session, and also maybe calling some 3-bets lighter than we might have. I'm really trying to make some more different videos for you guys other than just Hold'em, but there really hasn't been a whole lot running on this site. We really shouldn't even be playing 25-50 for our bankroll size, but unfortunately that's all that's available, and I want to continue to make videos for you guys, so I'm sort of not left with many other options. So here we are, starting out with $50 maximum buy-in at this table. We're covered by almost every other player except for Dan Java, who I believe just doubled up, I think. So definitely going to be looking to win some big pots and run it up for you guys. I've been considering possibly changing the platform that we're going to be playing on, only because Full Flush it's a great site to play on, but it's not the most trafficked site, so it's hard to find a variety of things that I want to do for you guys. You know, I'm looking to play games of PLO for you guys that are, less than $2, $4 stakes, because the whole point of this is showing you guys how to run a bankroll up, and if I just play with my bankroll, then it's just a video of me playing poker, which I'm happy to do as well, and I'm actually considered doing that as well. I'm having a separate spot on my channel for just videos of me playing, but as far as this stuff goes, we need to be playing within our bankroll, and we need to be playing stakes that we can afford. So 25-50 is a little high, honestly, for us. We're playing with we have about 3 buy-ins at this table. So that guy just hit a little royal flush action. So I wonder if he gets some sort of bonus for that. I don't know. Going to be folding the Jack-7 offsuit under the gun +1. Don't really see any reason to get too aggressive in the beginning of the session when we don't really know any of the players we're playing against besides Martz. The guy says, wow, never seen a royal flush. I've never seen one on this site either. I've made 2 royal flushes in my life. One of them was a flopped royal flush when I was all in a tournament, and the other one was online with, I don't remember what it was. I think I had 10 Jack of Hearts, or it was either 10 Jack of Hearts or 10 King of Hearts, and I flopped an open ender and then hit it on the river. Okay. Ace-3 offsuit under the gun, just fold. Hands like that, ace-deuce, ace-3, ace-4, you're essentially only raising because you have a blocker to your opponent having an ace, so it makes it more likely that his calling range will not include an ace when you raise. So it's good for you in the way that you're likely getting it in with somewhat the best hand if he doesn't have a pair. But in reality, I don't really subscribe to that train of thought. I mean, if he has you beat, he's going to be calling, and if he doesn't, he's going to be folding a lot more. I think that raising in those spots with like ace-deuce, ace-3, ace-4, under the gun, I just don't see how it's profitable. I mean, you're only really getting called by better hands, or hands that at least if they're not better, they play better post-flop. So get a nice little walk here. So we're still sitting at our, oh no, we picked up a quarter. So haven't even played a hand yet. We pick up a quarter. Probably going to be playing the 10-9. Ghost call, so our odds are looking pretty good so far. I think we can call this profitably. Our hand plays decently. 5-5-7. Out of position. I don't really see how we ever win this flop. If it goes check, 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 possible. King. I think we have to take a stab. I mean, they went check, check. I can't really see how either of these guys have a whole lot. The king is a bad card for us because it hits Miss Minshev a lot. On the 10 river, I think we just check and hopefully win. Yeah, king 9. So yeah, the king was a bad turn card for us. I think on queens, jacks, 10s, it definitely gets done. But it's nice that we hit the 10 river, so we didn't feel that we needed to bluff. I think we actually would have lost more if we hadn't hit the 10. Just gonna be folding the jack deuce offsuit all on the button. I don't think, I know in the last video, or I'm not sure if that was in the last video, but I posted a video where in the beginning we weren't doing so great and I was having my max auto rebuy on, which is what I normally play with. And I think that I'm going to not do that anymore because my reasoning for that is I want to be able to keep track for you guys throughout the session exactly where we're at. So, you know, unless we get down to like $12, then I'll be rebuying. But I think that being able to see what where we're at all times, I think is a good tool for you guys to have. A little unfortunate, we would have hit 3 jacks in the spot, but doesn't look like we would have made much anyway. Mishi is only committing $1.43. But yeah, so throughout the session you'll be able to flip through timing wise and see you know, where we may have lost or won a big pot, see what I have to say about it, and go over it. So we're not really picking up any hands so far, but we'll definitely be looking to play some big pots here in a minute. Martz is looking so far like he's not as aggressive as he was before. Get punished for nit folding the 5 deuce there, as you can see. It's funny, it always seems like at these lower stakes, whenever you fold a big hand, they play so aggressively. And you wonder what they have. It's, yeah, like, it's so strange how it's bet call, you know, and I'm sure we had the best hand on the flop. There's no possible way. Maybe not by the river, but I think on the flop we 100% would have the best hand if we would have been in there. He ships it. It's an interesting ship by Mishi. If it's for value, I would have to assume he has a small set, maybe, or a set of 10s, but it's definitely a weird ship. I guess maybe a gut shot that got there at the turn. I'm going to be going $1.50 here with the ace queen. This table is playing pretty aggressively, so I'm going to maybe switch up my pre-flop raising size. I might be opening to $1.75 or maybe even $2. Against a 3-bet. When Mishi just calls, so now we have a choice between calling and raising. I think out of position against 86 daily, I think we're just going to call. Jack, Jack, 6. So if we had the best hand pre-flop, we still have the best hand, most likely. The only way for that not to be true is if he had ace 6 or ace jack. If he decides to continue, yeah. Hopefully Mishi will call here and give us an easy decision. Yeah, so when Mishi calls, like I said, it's a weird spot because if Mishi had folded, we're kind of put in a tough spot. I think we actually do have to call, but once Mishi calls, it's an easy fold for us. Would have possibly gotten there on the turn, but who knows, he could have a jack and we could have been drawing dead, so you never know. This is an interesting hand so far. To me, it looks like Mishi has to have a big hand. And 86 daily, I mean, when he checks back the turn, he's just messing around. I think we probably would have, unless Mishi decides to go all in here, or, you know, yeah. 86 daily is never calling here. That's like guarantee. I mean, I'll be amazed if he does call. I can't imagine a hand he would have checked back on the turn that he can call an all-in bet with. He has to be posturing here. There's no possible way he ever calls this. And of course I'll look like an idiot when he, you know, clicks call, but I mean, there's no possible way he's ever checking back on the turn with a hand that he'll call the river with. So I think I'm going to experiment with making it a little bigger. You know, if your opponents will call $1.50, you never know. Maybe they'll call 175. Maybe they'll call 225. So I definitely want to experiment with making it a little bigger here. So we get called by Mishi on the button. Mart's left X. Mart's decides to fold. 9 Jack. We're just going to be betting half pot. Hopefully take it down right here. We might still have the best hand if he decides to call. He does call. I think I like betting twice here. He can have a lot of draws, hands that will fold, hands like a 9. Now on the Jack River, I think we just give up. Our hand has some decent showdown value. Yeah, 8-9. That's kind of exactly what his hand looked like. The Jack River is sort of bad for us. I think on a queen or a 10, I would have been more likely to bluff, but on the Jack River, I don't think that it's really a profitable bluff. I think he was going to snap call with the 8-9. Alright, sorry about that. So Mart's is 3-betting. Wow. So like I said, Mart's, we have it down that he has a loose 3-betting range, so it's possible he could have been extremely light there. We never know. Definitely picking up the quality hands, not really having any profit to show for it, but yeah, we've yet to make a pair so far. So when Dan Java makes it 175, we have a choice between 3-betting and just calling. I think out of position, I think I actually like 3-betting. I think, what's the proper sizing here? I think 550 gets the job done. With his stack size, I want to make it a little bigger. If he ships it, that's tough for us. On 4 deuce 9, he's only got 13.79 behind. We just ship it on him. We have to realize our equity of the ace of spades, seeing all, the next 2 cards, definitely having the best hand a lot of the time. It's just a thing where we just really have to ship it. I mean, we get him to fold better sometimes. I think he'll fold ace king there sometimes, and sometimes even all his small pairs too, like pocket 3s, pocket 2s that he tried to make a set with. He's going to be folding those as well. So we maximize our fold equity. We sometimes get him to commit with worse. I mean, there's a world where he calls with ace 10 there, just saying screw it. So I don't really think there's any other option to go on. Going to be defending here with the ace 5. Continue to not really flop much. See what Mishi decides to do. I think we just fold with Mishi behind us. If Mishi wasn't behind us, I'd be tempted to, do something crazy, but I think with him behind us, we just have to fold it. It's interesting to note that it doesn't look like Martz has been one to back down on any of his bluffs. When you see him fire one shell, it may be that he has it here. He could have, ace 10, something like that. But when you see him fire one shell, he's usually firing all 3 or at least 2. So got a big pot going on here. So Mishi puts out what looks like kind of a blocker bet to say like, hey, you can't raise. But he calls 10-9, 10-king. Yeah. So I guess what that looked like to me was that Mishi was putting out a bet that said, I want to see your hand and I want a cheap showdown. And it's kind of actually a good bet by him because it puts him in a spot where, if he would have value bet $15 with king 10, he probably would have had to call with a 9-10. And so he actually saves himself money, and sometimes he actually gets called by a hand that he's beating because he's giving his opponent really good pot odds to call. as well as the fact that if he does bet 5, gets raised, and then, you know, he can just fold it. So make sure the screen, okay, good. I was having some problems with the microphone screen setup. The sound for some reason was lagging behind the video. So I have a couple of videos actually that I had to throw in the trash. So our bankroll is actually going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit more than it was when we ended on episode 3. We're sitting at about 180 right now, I believe. So I think we had ended episode 3 with like 130, 140. So I have a couple of videos where we won some big pots and played some good poker. And interesting to see Mishi just ship it over the top here. Huge overbet. It's called Ace King versus Aces. So a little bit of a cooler there for 86 daily. Mishi. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We had some difficulties with the Wi-Fi, but we're back at it now. So we had to be reseated at the table. I just rebought, so just remember if it forced me to rebuy actually. So remember, if you forgot, we were stuck like, what was it? We were stuck $12 or something like that. So yeah, just remember that if you like to keep track of that stuff. So we're restarting with a fresh stack. I guess it probably cut off about the time that we were considering calling with the Queen 7, and I actually tried to because it was kind of just a nice little gamble spot for us, and I was going to post half of the money with my bankroll and then half with the Run It Up bankroll. But fortunately, probably fortunately for us, it ended up getting folded. So, you know, I have those little spurts of wanting to gamble, and the Queen 7 of clubs is a nice little spot to do that with, especially since with that Ace King, he was so obviously tilted. I mean, he shipped his last 12. We could have easily had the best hand with Queen High. I would have snap called with any ace in that spot and been almost certain that I was correct. So we got Mishi over here with 101. Gonna be just flat calling with ace 10. On King 5 King, it's likely we have the best hand. Gonna be calling once. Hopefully Mishi doesn't call behind. If he does, I'll probably be done with the hand. On the 4-turn card, I think our hand still has a good enough showdown value. So now on the 10 river, he never ever checks back a king on the turn, so we're obviously betting for value on the 10. What we can hope is that he has a 4 or 5, or he hit the 10 himself. But yeah, we're just straight up value betting the river. Chances are our hand was good before that, since he snap folded the river, but on that 10 river, it's just a perfect river card, and we can easily value bet that. Let me see how long this video's been running for you guys. So we're at 22 minutes right now. I think I'm going to make this video about a 40-minute video. We're stuck about $9 right now. Just fold the King 3 offsuit. Martz has left the table, and we've got the 2 short stacks on our right and left, so it's sort of a weird spot for us because it's hard to put pressure on those players because they're going to be willing to get stacks in, whereas Mrs. Minshev and Mishi are not going to. So we're going to have to adjust our game a little bit. Probably won't be playing as aggressively, what I would say. Ace 4 on the button. I think it's good a time as any to make a squeeze. So we have 2 flat calls, and we flop a gut shot straight draw and ace high. So it's definitely a good spot to continue. They will fold better. They'll fold better ace highs. They'll fold sometimes pairs. and we give ourselves a little bit of a added bonus if we hit a 6. On the turn 7, we can still have the best hand sometimes with ace high. He can have a hand like deuce 4. He could have the same hand with ace 4. He could have a hand like 4-8, something like that. So I think I like just checking back, hopefully hit a 6. So we hit our 2. So now the question is, are we going to get paid off by him with a worse hand when we raise? And the question here is, I think we definitely have to raise in this spot. When he bets about a third of our stack, our only option is to go all in. Again, it's a cooler. If he has a hand like 4-6, 7-5, or 7-3, it's definitely just a cooler, but hopefully he just has a single trip 7s. Definitely happy to not see him snap call. So we take all the full houses out of his range when he doesn't snap call. I mean, I'd be kind of amazed if he folded a hand like a 7, but yeah, that was an interesting hand. There's no other raise size other than all in. I mean, in a pot that size, raising 30 is the same as raising 25 or 20. So nice little pot there. We pick up about $30. So now we're unstuck. We are in the green. We are or what do they say? In the black. Nothing we can do but to call here against 86 daily. Ace 5, yeah. So great call by us. We just gotta sweat nothing because he's drawing dead. And we pick up that pot too. So 2 nice pots in a row for us. And like I said, he was tilted, so he was ready to ship it with any ace. Alright, so we raise it up here under the gun with the 4-5 of hearts, and we flop a backdoor straight draw, 5 high, and a heart draw. Definitely going to be continuing. Build a pot if we hit. Set up a bluff if we don't. They just agree that we deserve that pot for raising up with the 4-5. So it's going pretty good for us so far. We're up about $40 minus the about 9 we were stuck earlier. So doing what I wanted for you guys, booking a pretty solid win. I don't want to hit and run these players, but it is getting down to 3-handed probably soon because Dan Java is probably going to go bust soon. And I don't really love playing 3-handed poker, so I'm thinking that we might just end the video in a couple more orbits. Yeah, let me see. There's one other table actually going right now. Yeah, that table's 2 players, so yeah, I think we might just end it. We'll probably just play 1 or 2 more hands and then just call this video a wrap. Again, not wanting to hit and run, but with Dan Java having only $7, I really don't want to keep playing for the 3-handed poker. Pocket 4s on the button. We could argue putting Dan Java all in here, but I don't really want to do that with these 2 players left to act behind, because then if one of these players wakes up with a hand, we're really stuck between a rock and a hard place with 2 4s. So hopefully Mishi will just call and we can just try to flop a set and get it all in. On Queen 8 deuce, if Dan Java shoves, I think we just check behind. Jack is a bad turn card for us. If we were ahead on the flop, we are probably not ahead now. We are losing to a whole mess of hands, and when he bets pot on 2 players, we just fold. Nothing wrong with set minding every once in a while. I guess you could argue that we should have put Dan Java all in with 2 4s when he bets what did he raise to? $1.75 or something like that. But it's sort of a sketchy play because of the fact that these 2 players are there to act behind us. So, what I said before, our bankroll was at about 180, so we added on to that. Booked about a $30 win. We got Jack 10 versus Queens here. Doesn't want to hit a set on the river. queen's hold there. So yeah, so now that it's three-handed, I really don't want to be playing anymore. Three-handed poker is just not really to me, it's not really all that fun to play. I would much rather play heads up than three-handed, especially against two players where I don't really know how they play. We haven't really booked a long session with them just yet. So yeah, guys, booked a nice win today. Looks like about let's see, we ended positive 40 minus 13, so $27 in profit. Adds on, so we're over the $200 mark. Finally, we're sitting pretty at $207 in our bankroll. So tune in next time for what'll that be, episode 5, and I'm gonna try to find some tournaments to play for you guys. I know I said in the last episode, I think, that I was gonna look for a tournament, but the problem with this site is that it hasn't been too heavily trafficked in the past month or so since I started making these videos, so it's been hard to find games to play that are not just like 25.50, 10.25, 1-2, or 50-cent dollar no limit hold'em. But I'm going to keep looking, and if this problem keeps persisting and I can't find any other games to play for you guys, I'm going to consider changing the platform and finding a new site to play on that has games going at all hours of the night and just always has stuff for us to play and different stuff for us to do for you guys. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time for episode 5.